How did it go lead up to the point where you actually ended up on the streets?
So for 2 or 3 years, while my friends actually got credits at college, I like didn't. And I just, I took every class, pass, no pass, and or just didn't show up. Got reprimanded for plagiarism, just all kinds of different things. And at some point, when my junior year, it just switched where I was like, I'm going to use every day. And it was alcohol, it was weed, it was cigarettes, it was whatever I could get my hands on. And by the time my friends were graduating, I had been kicked out of college. And then shortly thereafter, I got fired from my job. I got kicked out of my house. My car was repossessed. And at the age of 23, my liver enzymes were through the roof. I had nicotine stains on my fingers. I was throwing up blood. And the only thing keeping me from living on the street was my buddy's couch, but I was stealing from him while he was at work, and I was eating his food and drinking his liquor, and I was wearing out my welcome. And so I was running out of options, and I wanted to die, but I didn't know how to do that. I didn't have the courage to do that, but I didn't want to live either. And so just at the end there, man, it was brutal.
Was there like the option to go back to your parents, or was it by that point had it got to that point where, I mean, had they just been like, no more of this shit, like just, you're not coming back here, or was it like, I'm just too ashamed to go back there?
They had always told me that they were willing to help me. I just like a lot of addicts, I didn't want to ask for help.
Yeah,
I understood that there was help. I just didn't really understand that it worked. And if it worked in my mind, it didn't work for people like me.
yeah,
And so one thing that would happen is every couple of weeks, my dad would take me to get a meal. And since I didn't have money, I would go. And he said he just wanted to buy his son food, but like I knew he just wanted to see that I was still alive. And every time I was there, he would offer to send me a treatment. And I would say, okay, thank you. But I would say no. But it wasn't until I started sharing with my friend whose house I was overstaying my welcome at that he kept offering to send a treatment, that my friend started talking me into it. And that's when I realized that I was overstaying my welcome. I was probably going to have to move to living on the street. And I was like, you know what? Getting 3 meals a day and having shelter for 28 days so I can figure out what the heck I'm going to do, it sounds good. It's going to suck that I can't use, but I don't want to live on the street, so I'll go. And so like I went reluctantly, for the wrong reasons, but we have a saying in recovery: come for the wrong reasons, stay for the right ones. And I was able to stay for the right ones, and I've been clean ever since.
yeah. That's something that, that must also go through like practically everybody's head, is that won't work for me. And it just doesn't sound very appealing, does it, at all? You know what I mean? Like going to rehab, I'd love to go now. At this
Oh, I know.
stage, I'd be like, oh, it'd be wonderful, because I kind of know a bit
Oh,
about what it
yeah.
is, and it's like, and the process, having actually done a little bit of research into it, but I don't know any addict that's done research into what it's actually like doing a program, or going to a meeting, or the benefits, or the process. It's kind of like the classic thing that you think in your head is like, to get off drugs, I've got to stop doing drugs. And that's kind of,
Right.
what I mean? That's all you think about, isn't it? Can you
Well,
tell
I
us a
think
little
that's
bit
part of
about the
that. So
pro?
that's part of the problem, right?
Yeah,
So I think we get told by the non-addicts that there's a way to recover. But I needed to hear 27 people tell my story for me to realize that there was a possibility that I wasn't alone. And then I needed to hear, in treatment, they would bring people, the alumni that had been successful and had multiple years clean. And there's a big difference between my parents saying, "Hey, there's a process, there's a rehab center," but it's like you don't know what this is like. There's no way that'll work for me. But when someone can come and actually tell my story and then talk about how they were able to achieve recovery, suddenly there's hope. And like one of the biggest things that I like to talk about when it comes to this is anybody that has an addict in their life knows that you can tell an addict to stop using until you are blue in the face and nothing changes. I say, stop using, stop using, stop using. The only time recovery happens is when you tell them what to start instead. when I woke up in that rehab facility, they didn't just give me a book and inspire me to be clean. They told me, here is a 12-step process to be exact, that you need to take in order to get the outcome that these other people have had. And we're going to show you how to use that and how to start using that process. And so between hearing my story coming out of the mouth of all these other addicts that I was with, hearing people say this process worked for me, and someone saying like, it is a foolproof step-by-step method that you can execute to get this, I kind of went in treatment from, there's no way this will ever work for me, to, oh my God, this might be my one chance to completely change my life.